Time to get some mowing done. Camera down, too windy. Try this again. Draft arms on and then we'll go mow. Well, it's a little windy today. Got the deck on the 455. I thought about using the 54 deck I got off of another 455 last year, but I decided to do on the 60 just because this will probably be the only mower I have out for the next week or so. I realized that I need to change the transaxle fluid on the hydraulic fluid on the 1445. Haven't done that yet, so I need to do that. Also, the X748 is otherwise occupied with the loader and or tiller for the next at least week or two for the new building, things along those lines. So the 455 is going to be the mower right now. I mean, it's spring, so the grass is only kind of growing. We got some rain 2 days, well, no, yesterday. We got some rain yesterday. Really perked up the grass a lot, so I'm sure it's about to take off, but we've got a little bit of time before it really just goes to growing all the time. So yeah, we're gonna see how it runs. Sorry for the wind. There's not a whole lot I can do about that. I don't even think a microphone would help. But I think you went on the camera tilted back and forth as I was putting the deck on. One thing to note with putting the deck on like I did with using another loader, if you have that option, obviously everybody doesn't have that option, but if you do have that option, make sure that you've locked the parking brake on the machine. If not, what will happen is when you pick up on the front, when you start off, the chain is going to be straight up and down. The machine's going to want to roll forward as you pick it up. And what happens is when you put it back down, that chain is going to contact the hood and potentially break it. Whereas if you saw what I did, I had the brake set. You didn't see that part. But when you pick up on this front bar right here, you pick straight up, you pick it kind of back up at an angle, let the chain come off like this at an angle towards the bar there. Then what happens when you lower it back down, the chain is not contacting the hood, you're saving the grill, you're saving the hood because plastic's expensive. What I've done is last fall, the 455 didn't get used all winter, so last fall I went over it. I'll probably go ahead and grease it again here shortly. The deck was inspected last fall. I went ahead and greased the spindles and checked the drive shaft and everything, greased the wheels, whatnot, because the wheels were new last year when I redid this machine. So we put 60 hours on it. We've already used it a couple times this spring to pull the roller and stuff, but we put 60 hours on it in the last year. We're going to see if we can put another 60 hours on it this year. And so off we go to mow. Just going to start off with something nice and easy down the tree line here. Just to test it all out. Because I can't remember where I had the mower deck set. I do have it set some. I know it's pretty high. But here we go. Ooh, it didn't run this winter. So to lift these decks up, to adjust the height, you pull back and you lift it up with the hydraulics. And then this plus minus down here, I'm going to pull it up. Probably going to come up one turn, because each turn, so that's a 1/4 of an inch right there, because each turn, one turn equals a 1/2 inch. Should fall down in this little spot right there. I'll try it again. Put my deck back down. Something must happen to PTO. So what that was is the locking collar on the PTO didn't seem like it locked the first time. If you'll notice, I kind of struggled with PTO when I put it on here, and I thought I had it fixed. But I guess not, but it looks locked now. Not really sure what that problem was, but you know, first mow of the year. So back to mowing we go. Out now, and it wasn't nearly as bad for smoking. That height a little bit better. Alright, well I'm gonna go mow, and I'll set the camera up when I get to a spot where I can where I'm not going to be far away from the camera. So my attempt at conservation here. You may wonder what this little wooden structure is in the yard, and you may or may not be able to see it. That's a clump of grass, and we were cutting all the dead stuff back, and there was a duck nest in the middle of it. So it appears to be either a mallard. It looks like a mallard. Looks like a female mallard. I don't want to get any closer than I am already. But you see I have less tall grass around here because I don't want to get any closer than I know kind of where the limits where she gets nervous. But anyway, I cut the grass down, and obviously, because she flew away before I even got there, I think I was somewhere else in the yard when she flew away, and I had already whacked that down when I noticed the eggs in the bottom. Well, it just took all of her cover away, so didn't think she was going to come back, but I heard her come back twice, just because, you know, you hear the duck wings, and she wanted to land, but then she would fly off, and even though we were in a different part of the yard. Normally they nest either out in the spruce trees out there, probably the same duck, either out in the spruce trees out there or in that garden over there. So we had looked there and there was nothing there, and I figured I'd find her. Normally the first time I mow the yard, I find her out there in one of the trees, and she tries to climb in the cab at the 1445 with me, and we both are scared to death. But it happens, pretty much happens every year that we've lived here. This year she decided to nest here. And so what I did is I just went and took a bunch of lumber that I had from a pallet, and took and just really quick, you know, cut it with a handsaw, built a really crude crate there so she could see out, but at the same time felt protected from everything. And she seems, I mean, that was 2 weeks ago, and she's still sitting there. So far the dogs haven't even really bothered her. We try to keep them away from her and everything, but that's our conservation effort at this house for the year. We also have a pair of geese that live out on the pond, but anyway, that is that. I'm gonna go back to mowing.